Rishi Sunak has been accused of utilizing the dark arts of Number 10 to drag King Charles into the center of a controversial political debate on Monday after he asked the monarch to meet with European President Ursula von der Leyen. Though the king hosted the top Eurocrat for afternoon tea at Windsor Castle to discuss climate change and the war in Ukraine, it is the implications of the meeting, after such a crucial political agreement was made, that raised concerns. Some have said the meeting was a blatant attempt by the PM to promote his new Brexit deal on Northern Ireland. One expert has accused the government of deliberately trying to associate the Brexit deal with the king by dubbing it the Windsor Agreement, something that has clear links to the monarchy. Long-standing royal commentator Richard Fitzwilliams hit out at political spin doctors for giving the Northern Ireland Brexit deal that name. He told Express.co.uk, "They are trying to make it as close to the royal family and as English as possible. It is all part of the way this is being handled. It is being spun. It is an attempt to make the agreement sound as amiable to large parts of the population as possible by the clear implication that it is patriotic, linked with Windsor." Mr. Fitzwilliams added that a key part of that is to highlight the meeting with the king, which he dismissed as a mere courtesy meeting or formality, and encourage the public to draw inferences that the monarch backs the agreement. He accused Mr. Sunak of engaging in the dark arts of politics by manipulating the meeting into something that it is not, Charles endorsing the Brexit deal. Mr. Fitzwilliams was adamant that the meeting was only symbolic and sought to reiterate that the king cannot express a personal opinion on a political matter or wade into party politics. Politicians, including former cabinet minister and Boris Johnson ally Jacob Rees-Mogg, rushed to condemn the Prime Minister for embroiling the king in the controversial Brexit deal while constitutional experts watched with bated breath. While asking the king to host, Ms von der Leyen doesn't risk politicizing the monarchy. The timing of the meeting was what proved controversial, and constitutional experts were quick to warn Mr. Sunak not to drag the monarch any deeper into the political deal. Dr. Bob Morris, an honorary senior research associate of the Constitution Unit at the University College London, said that as long as the optics of the meeting were well managed and were kept clearly separate from the deal, such an arrangement was okay. Presentation is very important for affirming the king's political impartiality, he told Express.co.uk. This is because it is that very impartiality which the monarchy brings to the headship of the constitution. It is important, therefore, that any meeting with Ursula von der Leyen should be so managed that it does not in any way suggest that the king is endorsing a particular political initiative. But he said that it was vital that the king remains neutral and avoids associating with the Brexit deal, in an apparent warning to Mr. Sunak. The academic said, "It is imperative that no government should ever try to conscript the king for their own political purposes." A senior constitutional expert agreed that the Prime Minister shouldn't put the king in that position, adding that a monarch cannot reject advice by Downing Street. But the figure believes that hosting the European Commission President at Windsor was not in itself controversial. They said the king can receive any foreign leader on the advice of the Prime Minister. It doesn't mean that he necessarily agrees with that leader, noting that the late Queen hosted Russian President Vladimir Putin and Romanian dictator Nicolae Ceausescu on the advice of Downing Street. What would push the meeting beyond its constitutional parameters is if the king appeared alongside Mr. Sunak and Ms von der Leyen when they signed the Brexit agreement, as that would indicate approval. The expert drew parallels to the actions of the king and queen after the signing of the 1938 Munich Agreement, where they appeared alongside Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain on the balcony of Buckingham Palace. This was an error because the pact was not universally agreed in Parliament. But the source said that having a private audience at Windsor Castle is not in itself unusual and does this not risk crossing a line. Commenting on the meeting between the monarch and Ms von der Leyen, Buckingham Palace said the king was acting on the government's advice and that their discussions would feature a range of topics. Downing Street has defended the decision to advise the king to meet Ms von der Leyen. The Prime Minister's official spokesman said Mr. Sunak believes fundamentally the decision was for Buckingham Palace. The spokesman said, he firmly believes it's for the king to make those decisions. It's not uncommon for His Majesty to accept invitations to meet certain leaders. He has met President Duda and President Zelensky recently. He is meeting with the President of the EU today.